The world of training and rehab have many things in common. It's both physical, they're both involving the muscles, movement pattern, trying to improve capacity and improve structure. Sadly, with the good also come the bad, which is the preaching for my own choir approach. People, both in training or rehab, or even nutrition for it, they tend to fall in love with one specific concept and then apply it universally to everything. So basically it does everything but cure cancer, or sometimes it actually does cure cancer. I think that, like, I love the Olympic lift, that's my background, but I don't always use them when I train athletes because it's not the appropriate tool for everyone. Now, since you work mostly in rehab and injury prevention, have you found like trends that are becoming popular but that sometimes attract people who are more extremists when it comes to recommendation, and they tend to focus only on that one specific approach? Like, let's talk about like primal movement patterns, for example, which is had gained some popularity in recent years.
Yeah.
What's your take on that?
Yeah. Oh boy. I like primal movements. You know, there are basic. There are first, there are initial.
Sexual intercourse a primal movement?
It's primal.
It's a movement.
It should be a movement. So I really like primal movements. I mean, are they important? Yes, there are basic, initial, foundational movements.
Can you give us an example? Because maybe some people don't know what primal movements are and what is the theory, why they should be helpful in training.
Yeah, it's, you know, when we talk about primal movements, we're talking lateral motion, forward motion, up and down motion, gait, crawling, coordinating upper and lower extremity movement, right? So are they important? Yes, there are basic foundation of coordination and of proprioception. The only problem I have, and it's like with anything in our industry, and you were saying, it's the big thing now, primal movement, and that's what happens is that something becomes all the rage, and suddenly people behave like it's the means to all ends, right? Yeah. Which it's not. I mean, the primal movements are important, and as I said, I think they're good movements to maintain and promote mobility and just maintain joint dissociation and proprioception and being able to understand where your body is in space. But the word primal also means that they're innate, they're instinctive. So one thing we tend to do with primal movements, or not we, but that tends to be done is we overcomplicate them. And I think you would agree with this because you sometimes say paralysis by overanalysis.
Exactly, yeah.
Right? So sometimes we don't realize, but we're getting someone to crawl. We're trying to get someone to crawl because we want to work on primal movement. And then so we get them down on the ground and we say, okay, so you're going to move your left hand forward and your right leg forward and rotate your body to the side of the hand that's moving forward. Whereas if you just told them to crawl, naturally, they would probably take like a bird dog, for example.
Don't over-intellectualize.
Don't, you know, if you go down into bird dog position or get the person down into quadruped position and ask them to lift an arm and a leg, I bet you $100 that they're not going to do same arm and leg on the same side. They're going to do, your brain is wired that way, and if you told them to do same side, and you could try it yourself, it would be really hard for your brain to process that. So we overcomplicate them, and they're supposed to be primal, so they're supposed to be simple. So they're not mandatory for being ready to do motor pattern stuff, motor recruitment
That's
stuff.
been my big problem with it. And for example, if you can't crawl properly, then you can't learn a deadlift or a snatch. Anybody who impose limitations on if you can't do this, then there's some, like, I've personally never been great at motor learning. If you tested my primal patterns, it probably not be perfect, but I can full snatch. I full snatch 142 kilos. So in my opinion, there are many ways to correct a problem. And there are no mandatory steps, but only tools that will help you fix the problem. And the best tool for someone might not be the best tool for you.
No.
I think the problem is that people, again, are sometimes, they fall in love with a concept, and that's become the be-all, end-all of all solutions.
Yeah.
I don't care who has the truth. I just want to learn what the truth is. But I don't like people who are naturally dogmatic.
No, and you know what it is a motor pattern is a skill. So everybody has the capacity to learn a skill, right? But a skill is complex, whereas a primal movement is supposed to be simple, or in our ideal world, it's simple. And just because you learn a simple skill, it doesn't guarantee that you'll learn a complex skill if you don't build a proper progression.
And on the other hand, if that movement is not optimal because when you were 1 year old you didn't learn it properly, does that mean that you will not be able to learn other skills in the future?
Exactly.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Yeah. Excellent. So that's a very hot topic.
Yeah.
We will save both our heads by not going too deep into the subject. But I think that the message here is just you got to keep an open mind that every single tool can have its purpose, can be effective if it's used for the right goal. When I did a capsule with Alex Babin, we discussed assistance exercises, and he mentioned that an assistance exercise should be used for a specific purpose. If it doesn't serve a very specific purpose, don't use it.
Yeah.
I think that with rehab, it's the same thing. Only use a tool if it's something that's going to directly address the problem. If it doesn't fix the problem, then don't do it, just wasting your time.
No, exactly.